Listen to me carefully in life. When it comes to relationships, business, friendships, anything involving people, you cannot sit back hoping someone will magically see your worth. If you want someone to choose you, you don't beg, you don't plead, and you don't wait in silence hoping for a miracle. You step into the room and you make it undeniable that you are the best choice they will ever have. Now, let me be real with you. Forcing someone to choose you does not mean manipulation, tricks, or playing mind games. It means presenting yourself, your value, your confidence, and your boundaries so clearly that the other person has no choice but to recognize you are on another level. When people know you know your worth, they can't treat you like an option. Too many people make the mistake of chasing someone who is unsure. They text first every time. They compromise on everything just to please the other person. They keep quiet about their needs because they're scared to lose them. And here's the truth that's not going to make them choose you. That's going to make them take you for granted. You can't be a doormat and expect someone to roll out the red carpet for you. You force someone to choose you by standing in your power. That means you set your standards and stick to them. You don't lower the bar just because they haven't reached it yet. You don't settle for half effort. If they want you, they need to bring the full package: respect, consistency, honesty, and effort. You can't tell people how to treat you. You show them by what you allow and what you refuse. You also have to be the best version of yourself, not for them, but for you. When you're working on your goals, building your confidence, keeping your mind sharp and your appearance sharp, you're not just waiting to be chosen, you're making yourself magnetic. People are drawn to those who have a life they're proud of. You can't expect someone to see you as the prize if you don't see yourself that way first. And here's another thing: stop giving all the benefits of a commitment to someone who hasn't committed to you. That's like giving away the dessert before they've even ordered the meal. If they want exclusive access to you, they need to put in the effort to earn that. You are not free admission. You are VIP, and VIP comes with requirements. If they hesitate, if they act unsure, if they need more time, that's fine, but you keep moving forward. The worst mistake you can make is pausing your life for someone who hasn't decided if they want to be in it. Keep shining, keep building, keep attracting, and watch how fast they realize they might lose the best thing they could have ever had. When you live like that, you won't have to chase anyone. You won't have to beg. You won't have to convince. They will either step up or step aside. And when they do choose you, it won't be out of pity, habit, or convenience. It will be because they saw your worth, and they knew they couldn't afford to let you slip away. That, my friend, is how you force someone to choose you, not by chasing, but by being so undeniable that the choice becomes clear. Standing in your power is about knowing exactly who you are, what you want, and what you deserve, and refusing to compromise those truths just to make someone else comfortable. It starts with understanding your value as a person. Too often, people go into relationships or situations thinking they need to prove their worth to be accepted. But the reality is that your worth isn't up for negotiation. When you stand in your power, you operate from the mindset that you are already valuable, already deserving of respect, and already enough, without having to beg for it or earn it in someone else's eyes. This is not arrogance, it's self-respect. When you set clear standards, you create a boundary line between what you will allow and what you won't. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They're about controlling yourself, your reactions, your choices, and your limits. If you tell yourself, "I will not tolerate being spoken to disrespectfully," then standing in your power means walking away the moment that line is crossed, not making excuses for it. If you say, "I deserve consistent effort," then you don't settle for sporadic attention or empty promises. It's about enforcing your own rules, even when it's hard, even when emotions tempt you to bend them. People who stand in their power do not chase approval. They know that when you start seeking validation from others, you hand over control of your happiness. Instead, they validate themselves by staying true to their principles. This builds an energy of confidence that others can sense. You become the type of person who commands respect without ever demanding it verbally, because your actions, decisions, and the way you carry yourself already send the message. It's important to understand that standing in your power doesn't mean being inflexible or stubborn in every situation. It's about being flexible where it matters and firm where it counts. For example, you can compromise on what movie to watch or what restaurant to eat at, but you don't compromise on your core values like honesty, loyalty, or mutual respect. You decide which parts of yourself are negotiable and which are not. And the non-negotiables are where you stand your ground, no matter how much you may like or want someone. The truth is, when you don't stand in your power, you send the opposite signal. You teach people that your boundaries can be pushed, that your needs are secondary, and that they can keep you in their life without truly investing in you. This leads to feeling undervalued, overlooked, and unappreciated. And here's the harsh part. People rarely change that behavior if you've allowed it for too long. The only way to break that cycle is to change how you operate, not wait for them to magically treat you better. When you stand in your power, you also learn the art of saying no, without guilt. If something doesn't align with your values, your goals, or your well-being, you decline it with confidence. You don't have to justify or explain yourself excessively, because you know that protecting your peace is more important than pleasing everyone. And the more you practice this, the more others begin to recognize that your time, energy, and attention are valuable currencies that won't be handed out carelessly. Another key part of standing in your power is self-awareness. You must know your strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears. If you're not aware of these things, it's easy for someone else to tell you who you are and what you should accept. But when you have clarity, you are not easily swayed by temporary emotions or sweet words. You make decisions that align with your long-term well-being, not just your short-term feelings. Standing in your power will sometimes mean losing people. Not everyone will like the fact that you're no longer bending over backward to fit into their world. Some will leave when they realize you won't accept the bare minimum. But here's the beauty. You don't need everyone to stay. You only need the ones who see your worth without you having to shrink yourself. Those are the people who will step up, match your energy, and treat you with the respect you demand through your actions. It's also worth noting that this mindset doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. It applies to friendships, family dynamics, and professional settings. If you allow a friend to constantly cancel on you at the last minute, you're teaching them that your time isn't valuable. If you let a boss overload you with work without acknowledgement or proper compensation, you're showing them that you'll tolerate being undervalued. Standing in your power means addressing these situations, setting limits, and being willing to walk away if those limits are ignored. In the end, standing in your power creates an environment where the right people are drawn to you and the wrong ones naturally fall away. You don't have to beg anyone to choose you, because you've made it clear through your actions and your energy that you're not here to be anyone's second option. You've drawn your line, you've built your standards, and you live by them every day. That's not just confidence, it's self-preservation, and once you start living like that, you'll realize you never needed to force anyone to choose you at all. They either recognize your worth and step up, or they step aside, leaving space for someone who will. Being the best version of yourself is not about perfection, it's about progression. It's about constantly working on becoming the kind of person you can respect and admire, regardless of whether anyone else notices. When you focus on improving yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you naturally become more confident, more attractive, and more magnetic to the right kind of people. The truth is, when you take care of yourself, you send a clear message to the world that you are valuable, and that message draws others in without you having to chase them. It starts with your mindset. You have to believe you are worth investing in. Too many people wait for someone else to inspire them to level up, but the reality is, no one should be the reason you start improving yourself. You should do it because you owe it to yourself. You have goals, dreams, and potential, and if you're not working toward them, you're leaving parts of yourself unexplored. When you wake up every day with the intention to grow, you carry an energy that makes people stop and take notice. Taking care of your appearance is one part of this. It's not about vanity or trying to impress others, it's about self-respect. When you dress well, groom yourself, and put effort into your presentation, you feel better about yourself, and that confidence shows. People are drawn to those who look like they value themselves because it's a sign of discipline and self-awareness. It tells others that you care about the details and you take pride in who you are. But being the best version of yourself goes deeper than just how you look. It's also about your habits, your health, and your mindset. If you're constantly complaining, gossiping, or dwelling on negativity, you push people away without even realizing it. On the other hand, if you maintain a positive, solution-focused attitude, you become someone others want to be around. Your energy becomes infectious, and people feel better after spending time with you. That's a powerful way to stand out without saying a word. Another part of being your best self is developing your skills and talents. You should always be learning, whether it's through reading, taking courses, practicing a craft, or trying new experiences. Growth keeps you interesting, and it gives you more to bring to the table in any relationship or opportunity. People are attracted to those who have depth, who have stories to tell, and who can teach them something new. When you are well-rounded, you become the kind of person others want in their life because you inspire them to grow as well. Your emotional health is just as important. You have to work on your self-control, your communication skills, and your ability to handle challenges without falling apart. When you can manage your emotions and stay composed under pressure, you stand out as someone reliable and strong. That strength makes you a safe place for others, and it builds trust without you having to ask for it. People feel secure around someone who can stay grounded, even when life gets tough. And don't underestimate the power of independence. When you have your own goals, your own hobbies, your own routines, you're not waiting around for someone else to give you purpose. That independence is attractive because it shows that you're in the relationship by choice, not because you need someone to complete you. It's the difference between being a whole person who shares their life and being someone who needs another person to feel whole. The former is far more appealing because it comes from a place of strength, not neediness. Another benefit of working on yourself is that it builds natural confidence. When you know you've been putting in the work, whether in the gym, at your job, or in your personal growth, you walk differently, speak differently, and carry yourself differently. That quiet confidence is magnetic because it doesn't have to shout. People can feel it without you having to announce it. Also, when you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself, you set the standard for how others treat you. You can't expect someone else to value you more than you value yourself. If you're neglecting your health, ignoring your goals, or letting yourself stagnate. You're sending the message that you don't care enough about yourself, and unfortunately, many people will treat you accordingly. On the flip side, when you show up as someone who invests in themselves, you naturally attract people who see your value and want to meet you at your level. It's important to remember that this is a lifelong process. Being the best version of yourself doesn't mean you won't make mistakes or have bad days. It means you stay committed to improving, no matter what. You keep setting higher goals for yourself, and you don't settle for staying the same. That growth mindset keeps you moving forward, and as you grow, you'll find that the kind of people you attract also changes. In the end, focusing on becoming your best self means you never have to beg anyone to choose you. People are naturally drawn to strength, confidence, independence, and growth. They will see the way you carry yourself, the way you live your life, and the way you keep pushing forward. And they'll realize that having you in their life is a privilege. You won't need to chase, convince, or compete, because your presence will already speak for itself. When you live like this, you don't just get chosen. You make it clear that only those who are equally committed to growth, respect, and effort will have the chance to stand beside you. Not giving commitment benefits without commitment is one of the most important principles you can live by if you want to protect yourself, worth, and make sure you're only giving your best to someone who truly values it. Too many people make the mistake of offering loyalty, time, energy, and even parts of their lifestyle to someone who has not officially committed to them. This creates a dynamic where the other person enjoys all the advantages of a relationship without taking on the responsibility, and it often leaves the giver feeling used, undervalued, and confused about where they stand. When you give all the benefits too soon, you remove the motivation for the other person to step up. Commitment is about exclusivity, stability, and mutual investment, and it should be earned through consistent actions over time. If someone can have access to you emotionally, physically, and mentally without making any real effort to secure that connection, they have no reason to change the situation. It's like letting someone enjoy all the privileges of owning a house without ever signing the contract or paying for it. They'll keep enjoying it as long as it's free, but the moment they have to take responsibility, they might walk away. Protecting your energy means recognizing the difference between being generous and being taken advantage of. Generosity in a committed relationship is beautiful, but when there's no clear agreement, it can become self-sabotage. You might think you're showing love, proving your worth, or demonstrating loyalty in hopes that they'll see how good you are and commit, but in reality, you're teaching them they can get everything without giving anything back. People value what they work for. When you make them work for nothing, they'll value it less. This principle applies to all areas: your time, your emotional support, your intimacy, your resources, and even your availability. If you're always answering their calls immediately, rearranging your schedule for them, or offering deep emotional comfort while they remain non-committal, you're pouring into someone who hasn't even promised to keep you in their life. That's dangerous for your self-esteem because you start tying your worth to how much you can give, rather than how much someone is willing to invest in you in return. One of the reasons people fall into this trap is fear. Fear of losing the person, fear of being alone, or fear that if they don't give enough, the other person will leave. But here's the truth. If someone will only choose you because you've given them everything without commitment, they were never truly choosing you. They were choosing the convenience. Real commitment isn't built on what you can give for free. It's built on mutual respect, shared values, and consistent effort from both sides. Another reason is misunderstanding self-worth. When you value yourself, you know that your time and attention are privileges, not entitlements. You don't hand them out recklessly. You let people earn deeper access to you through their consistency and intentions. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about protecting your heart and your energy until you're sure you're in a space where they will be valued. It's also important to recognize that withholding certain benefits until commitment doesn't mean being cold, distant, or impossible to connect with. It means maintaining healthy boundaries. You can still be kind, supportive, and enjoyable to be around while also making it clear that certain levels of access to you are reserved for committed relationships. This sets a clear expectation from the beginning. If they want the full experience of you, they need to show up fully for you. Another critical factor is that commitment benefits are not just about exclusivity. They're also about trust. Trust is something that's built, not given instantly. If you start sharing your deepest secrets, making big sacrifices, or intertwining your life with theirs too soon, you risk building that trust one-sidedly. By pacing yourself, you give the relationship room to develop naturally and allow the other person to prove they can be trusted with deeper parts of you. This approach also weeds out people who are only there for what they can get. Someone who is truly interested in you will respect your boundaries and understand why you're not giving everything immediately. In fact, the right person will see your self-respect as attractive and will rise to meet your standards. On the other hand, someone who gets frustrated or tries to pressure you into giving more without commitment is showing you that their intentions are not aligned with yours. By not giving commitment benefits without commitment, you shift the balance of power in a healthy way. Instead of being in a position where you're constantly proving your worth, you're allowing the other person to prove theirs as well. It becomes a two-way process where both sides invest and build towards something meaningful. And when commitment does happen, it feels solid, earned, and mutually valued because both people have put in the work to get there. Ultimately, this mindset protects you from heartbreak, manipulation, and wasted time. It ensures that when you give your all, it's to someone who has already shown they are willing to give their all to you. It prevents you from falling into cycles where you keep giving in hopes of changing someone's mind, and it replaces that desperation with confidence. You're no longer waiting to be chosen. You're deciding who is worthy of getting the best parts of you. When you live by this principle, you stop trying to convince people to stay. Instead, you focus on becoming someone who naturally attracts commitment, worthy individuals, and you reserve your deepest love, energy, and loyalty for the ones who have earned the right to receive them. This not only makes you harder to take for granted, but also ensures that when you are chosen, it's for the right reasons, because they genuinely value you, not just the benefits you bring. Keeping your life moving forward, even when someone is unsure about you, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your confidence, your happiness, and your overall self-worth. Too many people put their dreams, routines, and progress on hold while they wait for another person to make a decision about them. They stop chasing their goals, they neglect their personal growth, and they mentally put themselves in a holding pattern, hoping that one day that person will finally step up. But here's the truth. When you pause your life for someone else's uncertainty, you're not just losing time, you're losing yourself. The first reason you must keep moving forward is because your life belongs to you. Your goals, ambitions, and dreams existed long before that person came into the picture, and they will continue to matter whether that person chooses to be in your life or not. If you put everything on hold for them, you risk building your identity around their decision, which is dangerous. When your sense of progress depends on someone else's actions, you give away your power. Moving forward regardless means you keep control of your future, no matter what they decide. Another reason this mindset is important is because progress is attractive. When you keep working on yourself, whether it's advancing in your career, improving your fitness, learning new skills, or exploring new opportunities, you naturally become more appealing. People are drawn to those who are in motion, who have momentum, and who radiate purpose. When you stay focused on your own path, it sends a subtle but clear message. You are not waiting for anyone to give you permission to live fully. This shows self-respect, independence, and drive, all qualities that make someone more desirable and respected. When you keep moving forward, you also protect your emotional health. Waiting for someone can lead to overthinking, insecurity, and anxiety. You start to analyze every little thing they say or do, trying to figure out where you stand. But when you're busy pursuing your goals, you have less mental space to obsess over them. You're too focused on building your own life to sit around wondering if you're good enough for theirs. This keeps your emotions balanced and helps you avoid the trap of becoming overly dependent on their validation. There's also a practical benefit. By continuing to live your life fully, you maintain your options. You meet new people, experience new things, and open doors that wouldn't be available if you were stuck waiting. Sometimes you might even discover that what you were waiting for wasn't what you truly wanted after all. But you'd never know that if you froze your life in place. Keeping your options open ensures that you don't miss out on opportunities just because you're hoping for one specific outcome. Another important aspect of moving forward is that it builds resilience. Life is unpredictable and people can change their minds. If you've built your entire world around one person's decision, you're setting yourself up for devastation if they walk away. But if you've kept your own momentum, the impact of their choice will be far less damaging. You'll still have your goals, your routines, and your achievements to lean on. In other words, you'll be hurt, but you won't be broken, because you never stopped investing in yourself. Sometimes, keeping your life moving can even be the thing that makes the other person realize your value. People often notice what they might lose when they see you thriving without them. It shifts the dynamic from them holding all the power to both of you having something to bring to the table. Instead of you chasing them, they see you as someone they have to catch up to. This doesn't mean you move forward just to make them jealous. It means you focus on yourself, and as a side effect, they may finally see what they were taking for granted. It's also worth noting that moving forward doesn't mean cutting them off completely or being cold. You can still communicate, care, and be present in their life if you choose, but you do so without sacrificing your own growth. You make it clear through your actions that while you enjoy having them around, your life is not dependent on their decision. You are a whole person with or without them, and you're not going to dim your light waiting for them to decide if they want to be in its glow. This mindset requires discipline because when you care about someone, the temptation to wait can be strong. You might convince yourself that putting your life on pause is just temporary, but weeks can turn into months and months into years. That's why you have to be intentional about continuing your journey. Make plans, set goals, create deadlines, and stick to them. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth and hold you accountable. The busier and more fulfilled you are, the easier it becomes to let go of the waiting game. In the end, keeping your life moving forward ensures that you are always in the driver's seat of your own story. If the person chooses you, great, you'll be bringing them into a life that's already thriving. If they don't, you'll still be thriving because you never stopped building. Either way, you win. This approach not only preserves yourself, worth, but also ensures that you're never left with regret over wasted time. Life is too short to stand still for someone who's standing still on you. By continuing to grow, evolve, and live fully, you make sure that no matter what happens, you remain proud of the person you've become.